It's Laura here at Hyperstamper. Welcome back. Today's Antique Junk Journal is a really fun one. This is a little miniature book that I got. It was published in, I believe, early 1960, and it's called Fun at the Farm. So I attached this onto another antique book, and I've left some of the pages in here because they're adorable. And this whole book is farm themed. So every page is about farms, and everything is authentic and vintage ephemera. We've got postcards in here, inserts, just all kinds of really, really fun things. I got some ribbon here, some vintage and some newer to match the cover. And here's a funny thing, I made a mistake. This should have been this way because it's got a little rooster down here. So yeah, I mucked up. If somebody wants me to cover that up, whoever the purchaser is, I'm happy to do that, but I think it's hilarious. So let's take a look inside. Here we go. Here is a wonderful page from a 1920 children's book. And there is a farmer tilling his fields. And here we have, I have this receipt from 1953 because it's Betsy Ross bread. And I just thought that was something that you might bake on a farm. This is an 1800s plate here from a very old school book, and that its color is magnificent, and it's got the sheep there. And then up here is a little page topper from an antique book, or actually a vintage book, my apologies, and it's got the truck there on the farm. Put some antique paper on the back for journaling. This is from a wonderful 1930s children's book. Look at that, at the farm. Can't be any better than that, right? And this is their on the way to the farm on the train. I've got some clusteries up here, a farm children's page down here. I turned into a double pocket, and here is a page from a early 1900s book, and this was a farming page. Isn't that great? So you can have fun with that. And then this is probably my favorite thing in the whole book. It is this gorgeous, actually very rare and famous postcard. And somebody on here, this would probably been around 1905 to 1910, tried some really cool font there. So I thought that was pretty cool. So it's quite famous. You can Google that image. I'm just trying to find it here. It's pretty neat. Nita Pepito. This here is another postcard, and it's this wonderful woman here with a goat that you can find on farms as well. And that is also probably about 1930s, that postcard. And you can flip this down here and have more journaling space here. And then back here, I have a 1920s banknote, and then milk and honey vintage recipe card, because milk and honey reminds me of farms, songs about that. And then I have this beautiful page here, and this is from 1920 in the nursery. That came from the My Book House series. And here is another wonderful children's book page from the 40s, another farm page there. And this is from 1925 from an art education book. Look at that gorgeous drawing of a farm there. And then on the flip side is a farm town. Isn't that neat? This is the inside construction of the signature spine. And then turned that into a belly band. This is another wonderful farming page from a children's book with a journaling space on the back. Another farm, Mr. Andrew's Day Off at the Old Barn. And here is another wonderful set of poetry from the My Book House series on farms. And then here, I pulled this from another, I used about 10 different children's books in here. It's pretty cool. So that one has the little hens on it. You can journal on the back there. Just flip that back in. Birthdays are fun. It's not that that's a farming page, but the flip side is, when we get to it over here. Here is a strawberry. This is from, gosh, a very, very old early 1900s book on seeds and crops, and mostly strawberries. So this is from the Kellogg Company, and they've got all these women and men farming in the strawberry fields there. The three bears. And then on this side, we've got a bear doing a somersault in the forest. Here's another farm page here from 1920. And the sheep and the pig that made a home. And this is very cool. It's from 1915, from Girls' Own Annual. And it's got this fella down here. They used to wear suits when they farmed, I guess. But he is feeding all the chickens and the geese there. So that's very wonderful themed for this book. Just some crochet here, and I put in a blank vintage recipe card there that you can journal on as well. Here's another farm page. There they are, the kids at the farm with their grandma. And then here is a Danish farm here, and that is early 1900s. And this is more of those strawberry fields here. Strawberry fields forever. Wonderful Beatles song. 3 little hens on a farm, white hen, black hen, red hen. Famous story here. And here is the cows in the field and the milkmaid here. And over here, I don't know what is happening with this cow. He's doing a somersault or something. This is just a fun little vintage playing card here. I turned into a journaling spot. Not fun. And then this came from a 1904 Beatrix Potter book. And because we always have barn cats, right? So this is Little Miss Moppet there. And I did a fun cluster here, and you can do a little bit of journaling up here. And then there is more of that story from the 3 hens. Memories, I love that. And then here is a wonderful page as well from a children's book. Here is another wonderful farming page here, and they're picking in the fields. This is another fabulous page from 1915 Girls Own, and there we have a boy here who is feeding the pigs and the geese, and it looks like there's a sheep in there. Super fun. Love it. Very historic, these pieces here. This is just a little booklet full of my end cuts. A little farm picture here, so you can pull that off and journal in there. There's a little farm in the background here and the bunny hiding. New and old animal friends. Now this is from Fun with Dick and Jane, which is really hard to get a hold of, but I was able to get a piece that was absolutely destroyed, but I saved about half the pages. So this, I'm just thrilled, and you'll see a few pages come up here and there, but they're so precious to me that I have a hard time. And I even put this here so I'd remember that it's Fun with Dick and Jane. So here is Dick on the farm here. I just love it. Here is another early 1900s book on seeds, buying seeds. So there's cabbage and beets. And then this is a pretty little pressed flower here that I think you would find in a farming field. And down here, this is a painting that shows a horse and a colt called Barnyard Animals. That's what the artist called it. And that's from 1925, that plate. And why do you think this is in here? It is from an antique book on Scottish tartans, and it's the MacDonald tartan, and old MacDonald had a farm. I just thought that was funny, so I put it in there. This is a vintage book on poetry, and this is the goat paths here and here. Some little sheep here from a children's book. And then this here came from an antique history book. And we've got the homesteads on the prairie, so there's the farms back there. And then we have another barn page here. Whoop. And then here is more of those wonderful seeds and bulbs list. And there's that Fun with Dick and Jane page there. And that is the end of the book. I hope you love it as much as I loved making it. It's my first farm themed journal. I'll have enough ephemera to do another one maybe in 2 or 3 months. But there you go. It's going in my Etsy shop now, hyperstamper.etsy.com. And please subscribe. See you soon.